See, what I like about this, and you hear a lot of discussions in cryptocurrency about money, but nobody talks about the monetary system. And what is the monetary system? What's a monetary system? And basically a monetary system, and I don't care what your money is, and I don't care what the type of system, whether you're using cash and fiat currency and gold coins or whatever. Your monetary system basically is the combination of accounting and communication. Let's take cash. I walk into Dan's store. I see an item there that's $10. What's the accounting? I better look in my wallet and make sure I have $10. Okay, I got two $10, so I got 20. I can afford this. I take the item up to the counter. Dan's behind the counter. He said, that'll be $10. I reach into my wallet. There's the communication. I hand them the $10. Over the top, we're able to settle. So it's a combination of accounting, communication with the ability to settle. Obviously, we've gone a lot further than the physical cash realm. But what I like about this is what it's doing with Hive. And when Dan was talking about Bitcoin and the forking of Bitcoin, the problem with Bitcoin and the problem Bitcoiners have is they talk about Bitcoin as money, but it's like, okay, let's talk about Bitcoin as a monetary system. If we're talking accounting, which is ledger, and communication, which in this era is a digital network, the problem is Bitcoin's a shitty digital network. It's a crap network. So what we have going on with Hive, and people say, I'm here for the technology, ha, ha, ha. There's a lot of truth to that from the monetary perspective. The more that Hive becomes a technically advanced communication system, digital network, the better it is for the monetary systems we tie to it, whether it's our base layer stuff or whether it's something like Vaultex building that we incorporate in. So this is something always to keep in mind, that as Block Trades and the core development team start more of these ideas and starts to implement some more of these technologies into our base coding, this only makes the network that much stronger.
Yeah, absolutely. This is what I really like. I like this narrative discussion we had a couple of months ago, because I think a lot of people are like, well, what's going to be our key narrative? Certain other chains that we used to, people used to work on Hive and Steam, they've gone and made their own chain and they focus on one narrative and it's been successful for them. They've got recognition for it. But I can't see Hive with one narrative. I just can't see it. There's no way. It's just going to be a group of narratives that we're all welcome to go focus on and push to the outside world. It's never going to be one centralized group of marketers that go out and say, oh yeah, this is Hive's narrative. We can set up websites that explain all of those narratives. Maybe that'd be a good idea, but there's just so much that's going to happen, so much potential here.
Well, I think the narratives are going to be tied to what services you offer. So, narrative number one is swap your Bitcoin or move your Bitcoin with low fees and 3-second settlement time. There's a service. Speak Network. Decentralize your storage. There you go. There's another narrative. We have all these different, the more services you offer, the narratives write themselves. And that's the problem that I think with Hive is everybody's trying to find the narrative. There is no narrative because our service offerings right now are limited. Actually, that's the case across Web3, other than, just speculation and price go up to $1 billion in Lambos.
$6 billion!
What really is there in Web3 in terms of services? So this is where, from a financial perspective, the idea of Hive Financial Network, collateralized loans, bonding, all this stuff. Now you have a narrative that writes itself because you have services. It's like, take your Bitcoin, okay, maybe you wrap it and you tie this to VSC, and now you can take your Bitcoin and collateralize it for a loan and get HBD to go buy a house or whatever you want to do. So these are the things that as we increase our service base, whether it's through gaming, whether it's through social media, whether it's through finance, whether it's through whatever areas you want to discuss, then you start promoting that in whatever tentacle you're interested in. So if you're not interested in the financial, fine, but you might go out there and talk about Ragnarok because you think Ragnarok's the greatest thing ever invented. Okay, cool. And a non-gamer is going to say, Ragnarok, well, I don't care about that. Well, okay. Then somebody else starts talking about the financial aspects, and it's like, holy crap, you guys can do that? That's awesome. And so I think that's what one of the central premises is when you look at this ecosystem and the foundation that's being constructed in terms of the technical side of things, that can lead to a whole lot more, not only for developers, but for business people, for entrepreneurs who decide to come in and say, I have a decentralized database that costs me no money to utilize. I can use this as at least a partial backend, for data storage, then couple that with IPFS through Speak Network, and I got a built-in authentication network through the Hive key system. So all of a sudden, if I'm somebody building a business, it's like, wait a second, there's 3 big pieces that we're taking care of that my IT people don't even need to worry about. They just have to tie into this stuff. That's huge.